Vinny, it's another opportunity to put points on the board this weekend. How's it been looking this week, and what's the mood and vibe like on the training ground?
Yeah, it's been obviously the aftermath of a game that you lose of the importance that it was. 24 hours is not a good 24 hours, and then after that back to work and back to looking at this game and everything this game can offer for us.
You've spoken a lot about dealing with things in adversity. I was just trying to wonder, has it really tested you this season and at this point of the season? And because you're constantly trying to problem solve, aren't you, and find solutions to putting things right. How do you manage that?
It's also part of the job I like. That's why I became a manager. Not the not the challenging side of the results, but the necessity to problem solve. The necessity to either inject belief or give those players something to help them. That's something I'm passionate about. So no, it's not easy, but I think I was warned a long time before I made the decision to become a coach that this is part of the job, and I have no issues with it. It's something that I want to do to the best of my ability.
Have you injected a lot of belief? Have you had to inject belief?
You always have to. Always. That's not a job that starts and stops with, being in a difficult situation or not. I think you always have to, and it's easier when you believe yourself. That's my case, and that's a big part of my job, yeah.
And the points deduction that we've seen this week, the appeal process that's taken place with Everton and getting some points back. Sean Dyche has spoken about lessons being learned about the appeals process, maybe the length of time it's took to get to the decision that they have done at this moment. Is that something you share because of the position that you were operating in and around it as well?
No, I don't think it'd be even remotely. I don't have the pretension to be able to chip in on this debate. For me, my only focus is Burnley Football Club and this weekend. And I don't want to give a generic answer where I just bat it away. But in reality, I really don't care. I just care about our team and what they do. And that's the only thing I want to concern myself with.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jules. President of PLP.
As far as Bournemouth are concerned, Vinny, I don't know whether you've seen much of them recently. Despite the fact they've been 7 games without a win, performances would suggest they're still a very difficult team to play. But when a team is in a run of form like that, is there a good time to take on a side like Bournemouth?
Yeah, I mean, you've given, of course, the right type of context, but I think if you expand, I mean, we're dealing with a similar situation, or we have dealt with a similar situation. The main thing for us now is to kind of, we've got to be able to visualize ourselves, imagine ourselves winning these type of games. We've got to attach the feeling to this game that we're respectful of the fact that they're a very good opposition, a very good side. But you have to have this ambition in any of the games we play. For us, anyway, there's no other way. That's what we have to do. But we've learned that the Premier League always has these. That has no easy games, and there's going to be no different on the weekend, of course.
And do you take much of a look at the fixtures coming up? Because I think you've got 5 now that are against teams in the bottom half of the table in your next 7 fixtures. Is that do you say to the players, well, this is an opportunity for us to really try and put some points on the board?
We have to look at every game as an opportunity. I don't think we can be selective. And but first things first. There's a game now at the weekend. That's the only one that matters. And that's the only thing really I've been thinking about, if I'm honest.
Thanks, Baz. We might as well go with Bayern Matt. Now I want to go to Scott Reed.
Supposed to go Scott Matt? No. Oh, you can. Hi, Vinny. Can I ask about Jordan Bayer? How's he getting on?
So the latest I heard was that he was progressing well. With those injuries, though, I can't put a time on it. Yeah.
Can I ask about Samuel Baston as well? Looks like he's back at the club. He's been out in Turkey on loan this season. What's his situation?
So usually you're quite sharp with your information, but he's been back at the club and left the club already 3 weeks ago. So he's back in Turkey now.
So what was the issue? Sorry, what was the issue?
He had a knee problem and got fixed. He's soon to be healthy, so hopefully he'll be able to finish the season. I think that's the goal, that he finishes the season in Turkey and then he comes back in the summer.
That's, last season as well, you had a clear identity, didn't you? And at the start of the season, you had to adapt that a little bit after the start you had. Is it fair to say in doing that, you maybe lost a bit of that identity in making those changes at the start of the season?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm answering the same question in 2 different ways sometimes. Sometimes it's like you're holding on to it, then it's you've changed it. You know, in reality, we operate at a level where some of the things just get imposed on us, you know. We talk about the smaller, the bigger teams, but and it's not. I have zero complaints about it because still, you know, we want to compete at this level. It's just to say, like, all of these teams have got probably various rounds of investment behind them into the squad, which makes their squads quite strong to our level. You know, it's every game is against a very strong squad that we play against in this league. And what I'm trying to say by this is, just like last year, we were able to impose to most teams what we wanted to do. Better teams can impose things on you, but then it's whether you accept it or not. And for us, every single game we try and have a variety of ways to be in the game, to have a chance to have a result. Obviously, I'm speaking now on the back of the Palace game and going down to 10 men and everything like this. So I think for now the mission is much more simple than that. It's just on the Sunday, you know, try and answer on the pitch much more than in here. In fact, I would love the answer to be on the pitch on Sunday.
Thanks, Matt. We'll go Scott and then Gabby.
Vincent, you went across to the fans after the game on Saturday at Palace. How important is it you try and keep that connection with supporters? Obviously, easier last year when the team's winning, presumably more difficult this year when it's not. Yeah,
but it's fine. It's fine. Like you do have to be. We're all in it with our passions and our emotions. Like we take a real punch to the guts when we lose and it hurts, just like the fans do, and we lift ourselves throughout the week to just go again, and that hope builds up throughout the week, just like it will again for the game now. But in moments like this, I always find it difficult, you know, you go to the fans when it's going well and you give them the fist bump, and then when it's going badly, all of a sudden what you're going to do, run inside. So I just try and show that we have consistency in this, and we respect, you know, we respect the club, we respect the you know, the hearts and minds of the people involved in the club, you know, whether it's fans or everybody else. And other than giving our best, and this is what we always do, you know, that's the most important thing. Like, the question was asked after the game, you know, did you go and apologize? No way. Work too hard. Like if you work hard and you do your job, you know, from morning to the evening, with everything you've got, you give it your all. You don't go and apologize, but being respectful, 100%, and being together, yes, and just believing in the good times coming again. I would love nothing more but to go back to the fans and do the fist pumps again. So that's how I visualize Sunday, by the way. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
And I'm being respectful of Bournemouth, by the way. I know they're a good team, but those are things that you have to have in your mind. That's how you have to approach it.
And obviously you're desperate to be successful in these final dozen games, but whether you stay up or not, how important is it just to try and end well?
Yeah, I don't want to do scenario thinking too much, but for sure we want every game to reflect who we are. And obviously the Palace game doesn't reflect that. And you take all the events of the game, you know, into context, okay, but that's all we want. We want to make sure that the team reflects us. You know, if we work hard all week, we want to see that come through at the weekend. And the result will always dictate your mood after a game. but even more so if you don't show your true self, and that's all we focus on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Gabby?
During your playing career, you had the role of captain and had to support and motivate your team through some difficult challenges. What do you take from that experience into your job as manager of Burnley now?
Do you know what? It's a good question. I think if you would have asked me a year ago, I would have simplified it to, I was a captain, and therefore, you'd always have to lead by example. So obviously, if you stop believing as a captain, why would you expect from your teammates to be any different, especially the younger ones? But I think now, having lived it in that way, I think it goes much deeper than that. And I explained it to some of the colleagues not so long ago. It goes to the core of who you are. I can draw back as far back as the experiences of my dad, the experiences of my mom and the hardship they went through, the experiences of my brothers and sister. And then I'm going and looking at it and I'm like, really? Like, can you? No, you have to go and you have to believe. And then it doesn't come, it's not forced, it's really genuine. I have that. And I don't need many more people to believe. I'm fine on my own, but I do.
Thanks, Gabby. Rory, PA Media.
Hi, Vincent. Just wonder, when it comes to team selection, are you wary at this point of the season now, with the run being as it is, of any of your younger players sort of suffering any scarring from this that might hold them back in the future, whether you might be trying to take some people out?
No, I think I try not to focus too much at this point in time on the individual aspect. I play the team that hopefully gives us the best chance to have a win. But you can't shy away from these moments. You gotta go through it. That's sometimes it takes you a season, sometimes it takes you just a couple of games, and then you learn from it. But one way or another, you've got to be exposed to it to benefit from it. So I think I think if you fast forward for a couple of players, this period in their careers will be really, really valuable. But my focus right now is purely who are the guys who are able to run and fight and hopefully get us points on Sunday.
In terms of that sort of running and fighting and showing you something, are you looking now at this point of the season for people, whether you are looking to be in the Prem next season and do better, or whether you're looking to come back up? Are you looking for signs from some people that they are desperate to be the ones who are here on the pitch next season? But
I think if you make a latest assessment of our squad, we've suffered like any team in the Premier League. I think, was it today that the statistic came out about the amount of injuries in the Prem, and how far we were doing? I thought we were suffering more than other teams, and we're not at all. So we have the same problem. We have a lot of injured players. So the guys who are either starting or on the bench with the 5 substitutions, I think everybody plays that role. I don't think we can afford to cherry pick. It's really, everyone is that important, and we've had freak injuries this season, like the nature of what's happened to Foster, to Bayer, to so many key players as well for us. And I don't complain one bit about it, but all I'm saying is I don't necessarily have the luxury to cherry pick. It has to be the guys who are here.
Thanks, Rory. We'll just finish the opening section at the front with Stefan from Blick. Hello.
Hi there. Okay.
We are here to visit Zeki. When he was 19, he played in the 4th tier of Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yes, between 13 and 19, he had never seen a professional youth academy. Extraordinary way. Can you tell us what you think about his way? When did you first heard about him? And what makes him so special?
So, obviously, we followed his development for a number of years. We saw him the first time, I think, when he was playing the club before Basel, which was Lausanne. Lausanne, yes. And at that time, for us, he was an option already. Followed his development, and usually when you see a trajectory that goes upwards, you kind of know that these type of players are still have a lot of room to grow. But the story of going from the 4th tier to the Premier League, these type of stories, they're all over football, right? It's not necessarily where you start, it's how you develop throughout, and he's showed many, many good signs, and he's been exposed to the same challenges as everybody else, of course. To answer the question?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're happy with him? How he's doing well?
Yeah, I did highlight that I'm not diving too much into the individuals right now, because I know you want to write a nice story about one of your Swiss citizens, but I'm really in a focus mode on the game now. The main thing is you know, he's been great around the place, and we're happy to have him, and he's got plenty of years ahead of him where he's gonna be able to showcase his talent at the highest level. I have no doubt.
Thanks, Stefan.